Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you have not been here before, just a little bit about me. I own a play space and I do videos based off of what it's like to own a play space like this. So if you are looking into running a play space, or if you own a play space, this is a perfect way of kind of getting a little bit of insight on what it's like to own a business like this. My last video, I talked a little bit about what I would do differently if I were to redesign my play space, but that really got me thinking about how glad I am that I have a really small space, and I'll tell you a few reasons why. We are 3,600 square feet, and in those numbers, you don't feel like we're really very small, but when people come in, they do say that sometimes, that they feel like we are tiny just because we're one big open floor plan. I designed that way for a reason. I feel like it's really important that you be able to see your child even if you're standing on the opposite corner of the room. And it actually really helps us employee wise, just to be able to maintain the floor. I feel like one of the biggest complaints is that people say that parents don't watch their kids or the kids don't follow the rules. So it really helps us be able to enforce those rules, just be able to see what's happening at all times, even if we're standing at the front desk. Although I guess we are considered kind of a smaller space, and sometimes that is considered negative feedback to some people, because some people come to play spaces and are wanting this big grand warehouse or something like that. We do find that being a small play space is an advantage to us because of the fact that everything boils down to money. I think that owning an indoor play space is very hard as far as maintaining yourselves. A lot of us don't survive very long. And honestly, we don't survive off of open play alone. We make the majority of our money off of birthday parties. So having a small play space really helps with that, because I think that the number one thing is rent. I do not envy people that have to pay like $10K in rent. So with a small play space, usually commercial spaces charge by the square foot. So obviously we pay a little bit less square footage because we have a smaller space. I'm really happy for that. Also, with the maintenance of the square footage is also less as well, because you can do your daily tasks of cleaning and everything like that, and it doesn't seem overwhelming, usually because we're smaller. With staffing, it also helps as well, because we generally can usually get away with having like one, sometimes two, we're really busy staff at a time. That helps a lot with labor, just because we're so small, and that one person can be able to look at the whole floor, even if they're standing at the front desk, like I said before. So usually we have one person open and one person close, and kind of one person in the middle to kind of give breaks. I also think that it helps with the cost of your build out, right? Because it's easier and less costly to fill a space like this, because our play floor itself is only probably about maybe 1,000 square foot, including the toddler area is probably like 1,300 square feet. And then the rest of it the party room takes up a lot of room, and then also our eating area takes up a lot of room. So if you think of that in regards, the place area itself is not very big. Even though we started on a budget, we didn't have very many things when we first got our play space. I would say though, but if you had a really good, healthy budget, then it is a lot easier, I would say for sure, definitely filling up a space like this. So with that said, I kind of want to touch bases on the things that I don't love about having a small space. So of course, obviously the things that I envy, because this is a starter business. I got into knowing that it was a risky business, and there is so little information out there on play spaces itself. So I feel like I got this play space because I wanted to have a safety net in a way, and it really worked out well for that. However, on the flip side is that sometimes I do wish we had a bigger space, because of the fact that I get envious sometimes of what other people can put in their play spaces. And I'm just like, well, man, I don't have the space for that. I also don't love the fact that our space is so small that we can only have one party room. I feel like now that I know that parties are the biggest moneymaker, I would definitely for sure want at least one or two other party rooms, just be able to fill at that time during like the peak months, like winter, when parties are calling in all the time asking if we're available to book. So I feel like there is some revenue there that we could be catching in if we were to get a bigger space. Expansion wise, I have lots of ideas in my head that I wish that I could implement, but I can't implement because I was like, I don't have the space to implement that. I can't take away any more from the play area. I can't take any more retail space away to order to make certain ideas happen. So I wish that if we were a bigger space, those things could possibly happen, because you could say, well, you know what, we don't really need some of the space for XYZ, and maybe you could implement those ideas and see what works. You know, besides rent and everything like that, those are like the main two things that I kind of envy about having a bigger space. So if you're looking for a space, I think about the pros and cons about this video, about what I was talking about, how a small space is great, you know, especially if you don't have a lot of information regarding opening your own play space, but then also just to kind of help you know that every single month that you are gonna meet rent and be less stressed on yourself because of that demand. But you know, but I think it's really important to think about kind of like what kind of play space that you want to build. Obviously some of the bigger soft play spaces probably require a little bit more room, and then it serves a lot more different ages. And for us, we are catered to a smaller age range, and so that doesn't require us to have that much of a big space. Okay, as always, I hope this gives you a little bit more insight on what it's like to be a play space owner. Make sure that you subscribe to this channel by clicking over here and then clicking on these videos for extra content. Talk to you next time. Bye.